Hey guys, it's me, Zaz. I'm back again, and I brought someone else.
Hey, it's me, Skar.
Today is going to be an interesting video because it's reacting to a certain article I happened to find on CNN.
Do tell.
So, in this article, which also happened to have a video from a customer that was recording the whole situation, a Puerto Rican manager is caught talking in Spanish to a coworker. No big deal, until two women end up calling him out for it and telling him to go back to his country, go back to Mexico, which the man is Puerto Rican, so nowhere close. And he kept telling them, freedom of speech, ma'am, but they kept backing lash at him. You're supposed to speak English here in the United States. And does the United States have an official language, my good sir of history?
No. We're just a little over, we're nearing 300 years when it gets to 2076, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just now a little over 200 years, maybe more. Yeah, a little more. The U.S., ever since its declaring of independence and togetherness, has never once had an official language. The only time the colonies, back when we were colonies, had a language, it was considered the King's English. And that's because only at the time England had owned the land that was the colonies. Only time.
But that was way, way back then. So naturally, the man ends up telling them to leave. At first, the woman were refusing, saying, "We will only leave once we finish our meal." But then he threatens to call the cops, in which he ends up doing, and they leave.
Mm-hmm.
Burger King has left in a statement saying that their environment is not one for discrimination, which that's how it should be. So, yeah, people are ignorant. I myself am Hispanic, though I am half Mexican. I'm not entirely Mexican. I am also half Colombian. So you can't tell me to go back to my country because I was also born in Corona, California. That's the United States, last I checked.
Well, you are right.
So I am not illegal. I am not a drug dealer. I am not Catholic. I am not Democrat. So enough with the stereotypes already, because I don't fit in any of them other than the fact that I can speak Spanish because I want to. Freedom of speech, after all.
This is true.
And what is your thoughts on that whole fiasco?
So I'm pretty sure everyone is common enough with what's knowing of a hate crime or hate against people. I'm sure you've at least seen it.
Yeah.
One thing I'd like to quote a document written about 200 plus years ago. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That document was written to declare a nation free and for every human being their human rights. Now, when a group of people, or even one specific person, goes above and beyond to truly think one's superior or one's better than the other, at the end of the day, you have to remember that no matter where you go, no matter who you are, no matter where you're born or descent, in the day, we all bleed, we breathe, we die the same way.
We're all red on the inside, so what's the difference? Oh, skin tone, language. Let's see. The evolution of humans are we all end up going from one place and spread out. As a result, those humans adapted to certain environments and gained certain traits.
And thus created your own culture, exactly.
I'm dark skinned because my people were once used to the extreme heat, whereas your people were more used to colder climates. So
what are you talking about? I tan very easy. I'm not Irish.
Well, you are part Irish, but yeah. But like going all the way back then.
He gets me with the fact.
Going all the way back then, at one point your people were used to colder climates and my people used to hotter climates. So the difference, we just adapted, but we're still the same people, the same humans. There is no real difference.
Not really.
So as for why some decide we're superior, it's kind of hard for me to believe why some are superior.
Wait a second. I struck pay dirt. Finding we should to be talking about the topic of people who think they are superior here.
Ooh.
Let's see. I have it on here.
The history and news buff is bringing up
Here we
something.
go. Tennessee governor. Doesn't say the name of the governor, but signs a proclamation honoring early KKK leadership, sparking backlash.
Of course, backlash.
Well, yeah. And this is what I don't get. Because personally, a lot of people have probably heard of this organization called the Freemasons. They have lodges all over the world, and I'm hoping to become a member. Now, a lot of you think that Freemasons are like secret society, national treasure, all that good stuff. It's legitimately just a group of good men trying to be better. Now, we compare that to, say, the KKK. The Ku Klux Klan was a group formed about a year or so after the official ending of the Civil War. Now, through that, it stated that 2 Confederate officers had officially started the group, enlisting farmers, former soldiers, politicians, anybody who could have been powerful and just needed their numbers growing. And they thought that, above all, one race was better than the others, when it's not. It never has been, and it never will. And if you're wondering what those noises are in the background, those are my cats. I apologize. And when you truly look back at history, and even today, because every race, every religion, every gender, every ethnicity, every etc. upon etc. at one time has been considered inferior, slave, a minority, just about everyone. It's biblically stated that the Jews or the Hebrews were used as slaves in Egypt, right? Yeah, the story. Yeah, thought about that one. Today you have like things like the sex trade, which is basically just human trafficking, which is another form of slavery.
And then back into American history. Let's see the slaves that were once Africans taken away from their homelands and forced to work in the fields and whatnot.
I would like to point out a fact there, as long
Okay.
as we're going there. Only 3% of total slaves in America resided in the South. And I consider the South to be Tennessee, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, and what is Virginia.
And Georgia.
Only 3% of slaves actually lived within that area of the United States. Care to take a stab as to where the other 97% were?
Where?
Working in factories, which was not a very marketable position for the South, but it was for the North, especially at steel mills, at lumber mills, at iron works.
Yep. And let's not forget about the Native Americans and
Oh, here we go.
the people that once actually should technically have claimed all this land as their own, and yet we're basically kicked out and forced into reservations today. Of course, thankfully they're not complaining.
You just said you as like you were one of them.
Technically, I am, considering the fact that California, Colorado, Nevada, they were all once part of Mexico.
This is true.
So on that part, I am technically Native American. But yeah, as a matter of fact, fun fact, the only reason why the United States didn't take all of Mexico when they basically beat Mexico in just a landslide was because it was too indigenous. So yeah, that's why they only took the best parts and left Mexico to scatter around.
Personally, I'm willing to give back California.
So would I. After my family ends up going back here.
And no, that's bias.
What? I do care about my family.
That's true. I have no family in California.
And even then, the actual Hispanic population, Latin America, they also were basically oppressed by the likes of the Spanish.
This is true.
The likes of the Spanish and any other strange European powers, mainly Portugal being the second powerful. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we were also oppressed. And as a result, all of you have seen the news. Latin America isn't so hot, especially Venezuela now. All thanks to the Spanish, but, well, that's just in the past. Which, going off that topic, I kind of do get upset when some minority peoples end up trying to claim, oh, this happened to us in the past, you should give us all this free stuff. All minority groups basically try to take free stuff when their oppression happened long ago. You already have equal standing. Why would you want to be suddenly superior? Because of something that happened in the past long ago?
Well, actually, on this one, I have to stand up for a few things.
Okay.
For a lot of the older generation of African Americans that are still with us today, when experienced segregation, and you have to remember, when a law is signed, not necessarily people follow.
And it doesn't happen like in a snap. That's true.
No, it doesn't. A lot of things don't happen in snaps, besides Thanos. For one thing, I'm working class. I do landscape.
Well, I'm technically working class as well, but
You work at Splash Pad.
yeah, but I don't work as hard as you do in the sweltering. Well, I do work in the sweltering heat, but you do much more extensive labor than me.
This is true, which is why I'm opting for working at Burger King now.
See the difference between us. I'm Hispanic. I should be the one working in those landscaping fields, but instead he's doing it. That doesn't mean that I'm supposed to be doing that. We have specific roles to play in society. We are human beings and can choose whatever path we want, as long as we stand on equal footing. And I don't really like people being put down or being raised up too much. It's a complicated situation, but
I like to think back upon what the founding fathers really thought about the American experiment, because they left a system that wasn't broken, but was bendable. They left it so bendable that even today now we are able to change it. Initially, sadly what I think is that initially the freedom and rights of every man, I do think sometimes they personally thought was really only for white people, which sadly enough can be considered truth or it can be considered blah blah blah. However, I think today that if our country cannot stand on equal footing with our people of other nations, of people of other religions, ethnicities, majorities, minorities, gender, sexuality, I don't care, then we really have no right to call ourselves a democratically electable country. We don't have a right to call ourselves a republic. We have no right to be a union. Because a union is a group of people. It's a group of states. It's a group of ideas coming together to form a more better and perfect union.
And that's regardless of whoever the ideas are coming from. The moment the United States end up taking the California, Nevada, Colorado, Arizona, all those people there were technically became Americans. It's the same thing happened for whatever lands they ended up taking. They ended up becoming Americans, and whatever ideas that were there end up getting added to America now. It's a melting pot. America is a melting pot. Don't try it. I even wrote an essay on it. The English language itself is a melting pot language.
Let's see, we get some of our words from the German, the French, the Latin language, the King's English, Greek, Italian.
Scottish, actually Scottish Gaelic, Celtic.
Even some Spanish in there.
Yeah, Spanish in there, Portuguese. What else did I see? Russian. Over 50 different languages make up the overall vocabulary of English. So don't say that America is not a melting pot. Not only is the culture itself a melting pot, having borrowed foods from different cultures, tacos, burritos, quesadillas, those are all from, obviously, Latin America.
We got burgers, we got hot dogs. Those come from Germany.
Yeah.
Fun fact, the hamburger came from Hamburg, Germany.
Hence the name.
Hot dogs, direct descendant of the Wiener Schnitzel. Hopefully I pronounced that right.
And well, what else? Like even obviously Arabic and Asian foods that people seem to crave a lot.
Rice.
Yeah, rice.
I love me some rice.
Even the African Americans, even during their times of
Grits.
slavery, they brought food there. So, yes, regardless of what people will say, we are a melting pot. Different cultures coming together as one. And if looking at the good sides of America, all that resulting from different cultures, different peoples combined into one, working together for the better good. Why can't that happen in the rest of the world? No, because systems of where one is superior based on heritage, skin color, or whatnot end up overpowering. It's sad. Anything else to comment?
Oh, on a side note, as to what you were, to one point you were saying, you also have to remember a history. 2 white guys with guns is not about to kidnap 300 African Americans from their tribe. Because $10 says the running group with spears and swords are probably going to beat the living crud out of the 2 white guys with muskets that take about 2 minutes to reload.
Yeah.
So you have to remember, that wasn't necessarily his force, but tribal chiefs, or whoever led them at the moment in time, would often sell the undesirables of the
ones they conquered, because they wanted to also be superior.
Exactly.
So that happened way back then. As a matter of fact, some historians have said that the likes of the Incas, if their emperor hadn't been so careless and actually tried to fight, there would have been a chance the Incan Empire wouldn't have fallen so soon. But because he was careless, the small group of people against whoever knows how many thousands end up easily making the Incan Empire topple.
One joke I'd like to say.
All right.
Is, I don't know about you, but if I had never seen a piece of steel armor with this freaking sword on a horse running towards me, I would have gotten the heck out of Dodge too. Oh, club! No!
True, there are multiple factors of why the Latin Americans were easily conquered, but still, like, that's a fact. Horses aren't exactly made for the mountains. So
No, they're not.
So in that
Goats
sense,
are. Imagine if they came riding in on goats. What could have been worse? It could have been war elephants.
Fun fact
happened in Italy.
Yeah. Fun fact about domesticated animals. Only one domesticated animal came from the Americas. That was the llama. All other domesticated animals came from that of Afro-Eurasia. So that's the only kind of domesticated animal we can have pride in. The humble llama, which I guess if we somehow managed to ride them in war, we would have a fighting chance against the Spanish more. But oh well.
Arm the llamas.
Yeah. Any last words, my dear good sir?
Yes. I don't care about concealing my identity.
Well, there's not much to hide about my identity other than my eyes over here.
Well, you can hide a lot with your eyes.
I guess that's true.
Now all you see is beard.
This man wants to become famous, whereas I'm the more seclusive type in terms of that.
Oh yeah, I definitely won't be president of the United States.
Yeah, I would vote for you. Mr. Future Emperor of the World.
Oh, I don't say that. I only wish to further progress the American Empire. I didn't say that.
Yeah, all right. Fair enough. Also, another fun fact real quick before we close this off. None of my friends are actually Hispanic. For instance, he here is obviously not Hispanic.
Or am I?
I also have one friend his parents are from Lebanon. He was born in Switzerland, funny enough. And I have 2 other friends that are also of Scottish-Irish descent. So, yeah, you can be proud of that there.
Reppin' Highland Nation.
All right, I guess this is the final time. I got no final words.